Your mirror, your muse. Welcome to G State of Mind.
Things are as simple as they are complicated. I feel like at some point, everything feels like a paradox. Life is as simple as I make it and as complicated as we think it is. Nothing is ever too serious to still just try it, to still just do it and give it your best. And then you decide what you want to do from there. I feel like in those moments of like your fear, in those moments of having a mental fortitude to still go after the things that you want, despite some of those feelings, I think if you think about how simple everything is, and even if your situation is complicated, how complicated it is at the same time. To just know that, like, yes, I could simply just do this thing and try it anyway. Sure, there's complications in how I'm going to do it, where I'm going to do it, who I'm going to do it with, who I'm going to tap for these things, whatever that might look like. But it's as simple as just getting up and trying and doing it anyway. It really is that simple but complicated at the same time. Like, we are literally on a flying rock, hurling through space, like flying through space at speeds we can't even comprehend, going where we don't know. I don't know what's happening. We're specks of dust in the grand scheme of the entire universe. But yet here we are with these very complicated feelings, these very complicated emotions, finding your purpose and finding ways to survive and to make money and to still, enjoy this full experience of life and finding the meaning behind life, but also still taking the time to just find out who you are. It's all as complicated and as simple as you think it is. So do it anyway. So do it anyway. And honestly, that has just put so much into perspective for me. Life is as simple as complicated as we think it is. Another thing, and this is going to be my last thing, that I've taken with me for quite some time. There was something that Will Smith said back in, I think it was 2020. It might have been 2019 and 2020. And he said something in the interview. Somebody asked him about failure. And, often we always have this fear of failure. But he said he looks at failure so very different from other people. And so the quote he said was, fail early, fail often, and fail forward. And I thought about what he said. I thought about that quote of fail early, fail often, fail forward. And like, what does it mean to fail forward? And I realized then that there's really growth on the other side of failure. That failure isn't just this dreadful thing that we did so terrible and now everyone's going to hate us. Failure is the process of learning. Failure is the process of getting better. Failure is the process of learning something new and learning it in a different way. In a way, failure is, sure, you didn't do it the way you thought you should have done it. You didn't do it the way it should have looked. But now you have a perspective of what it looks like when you don't do it that way. You have the perspective of what it looks like to try something differently in a way. And there's growth that comes with failure. So when he said fail early, that means go for it immediately. When you have your ideas, your big thoughts, these big grand dreams, you go after it immediately. And you embrace the failure that comes with those first few attempts. And fail often. That means keep going. That means keep trying. That means look forward to the failure that might happen, because that means that you're growing, you're getting better, you're getting stronger. Just acknowledging failure is growth in itself. And fail forward, that means fail and grow. That means grow and get bigger and better. That means that you have no choice. After failure, you have no choice but to get better and better. Why? Because you now have this perspective of what it looks like to do it wrong, of what it looks like to do it differently, of what the picture looks like when you didn't do it the way you thought you should have did it, or you didn't do it the way you thought it should have looked. Sometimes failure is not even failure. Sometimes failure is a new open door somewhere else. Yeah, sure, sometimes failure is failure. You just didn't do it right. You just didn't succeed. You just didn't hit the mark. But you learn from that. You might learn the hows. You might learn the whys. You might learn the wheres, the whos. You learn all of those things, and all that does is make you better. All that does is give you the chance to master this thing. Because now you know all the ways that it shouldn't go. You know all the ways of how not to do it. You know all the different ways that you could do it. And so failure is a part of the recipe for success. It's a part of the recipe for growth. And I think we've all been programmed fearing failure, fearing what that looks like, to not be the best, to not be as great, to not do it really good the first time. And it's okay to be bad at something new. Failure is what comes with the process. Failure is what comes with the formula to getting to that level that you're trying to reach. You have to embrace it. There was a video I saw on TikTok, and there was a teacher or a professor, and she was talking with her students, and they were talking about the concept of becoming an expert at something or mastering something. And she mentioned becoming a master at something or an expert at something requires you to have frustration tolerance. In the process of you learning something new, in the process of you becoming really good at something, there's a space between what you know and what you don't know. And within that space is frustration, because you have to fail in that space. In that space, there's a lot you don't know, and so you're learning it. There's a lot of confusion that might come within that space. And so between the space of the beginning and mastering that thing or knowing even more about that thing, you have to acknowledge what you don't know. You have to acknowledge all the things that confuses you. You have to acknowledge the frustration that may come with getting to know these things, because it's going to take failure. To continue to learn something new, to continue to learn something and get better at it, you have to acknowledge the things that you don't know about it. You have to acknowledge the things that you're learning about this thing. And so there's a certain frustration that comes within that space of the beginning of when you first start learning about this thing and knowing all there is to know about it, because you continuously learn that there's even more to learn. Again, life is as simple and as complicated as we think it is, and that goes for everything. And so that frustration tolerance is also a part of that mental fortitude to embrace failure, to embrace what comes on the other side of failure. And so, yeah, sure, I'm not saying you're always going to be successful by choosing faith or choosing courage, but I am saying you're going to grow. I am saying you're going to have progress. I am saying that there's going to be a new perspective on the other side. I am saying that faith and courage will always allow you to grow. You take them with you, you're going to grow. I mean, you can grow with fear too in a way, but that process is going to be a lot more long and arduous, and I don't think you want to do that. But I say all this to say that through this journey and this process, I'm learning so much about myself. I'm learning so much about living bigger, dreaming bigger, and I'm going to share that with you. And the first part of this process for me was really having the mental fortitude to choose faith and to choose courage despite everything else. I am an overthinker, believe me. If there's a scenario to be thought about, I've thought of it. So hopefully this helps somebody else along the way in this journey. Welcome to this journey with me. And I hope we both grow from this. And I'll see you next time.
I mean, I gotta go. I can't keep giving people all this goddamn blame. I gotta go. Bro, where you at?